think we may be live. Let's just wait and see. Let's have a look. And we are live. We are live. I'm looking particularly rough today. But if you're here, you're probably here to listen to me talking about people fighting each other rather than admiring what I'm wearing, or hello to everyone in the chat, to Luke, to Oasis, to Team Groves, to Bryce, to Barry, to Tom, to Lewis, sorry. Hope everyone's good. Hope you're enjoying your Saturdays. It's about lunchtime. Let's start with a little bit of housekeeping. Previews for a lot of the fights are already up on the channel. Did an extended preview of Canelo versus Triple G. Quick thank you to everyone who's supported that video and watched that video. It's up to 5,300 views already. That's already up on the channel. We did the podcast last Wednesday where we sort of talked down the cards and discussed those fights. Huey Fury versus Joseph Parker breakdown went up on the channel yesterday. So if you haven't, please do take the time to check out all these videos. You could also add me on Facebook using the link in the description. You can follow me on Twitter at Boxing Gossip. And of course, you can subscribe if you haven't done so. We got some new subscribers joining, but still about half of the people who watch my videos haven't subscribed. So anyone who wants to subscribe would certainly be much appreciated. Now, a reason I'm going live at the minute is I'm sure we can all agree tonight is an exceptionally strong night of boxing. And, there's a huge amount going on. You've got the World Boxing Super Series, the second fight of that saga, the first fight in the super middleweight division, Callum Smith taking on Eric Skoglund on ITV4. A card that I'm quite looking forward to on Box Nation, headlined by Joe Saunders versus William Munroe Jr. We will, of course, be discussing the weigh-in for that fight that occurred yesterday. There's also some notable prospects on that card. The likes of Daniel Dubois, who's fighting AJ Carter for the Southern Area belt. You've got the likes of Anthony Yard. And then over in America, Triple G versus Golovkin, who fought over, who weighed in yesterday as well. So huge amount to discuss. We're going to try and make this a bit more of an interactive show. So we're going to try and get some of the chat involved. If people want their comments to be read out, we're going to try and get that done here today. And let's discuss it. So first and foremost, Triple G versus Canelo. Let's go to the chat. Who's going to win this fight? And how are they going to win the fight? Also, give me your take on the weigh-in that occurred yesterday. For me, Canelo looked very big, very strong at the weight. Looked in tremendous condition. Triple G, as expected, had a slight sort of height advantage. Triple G, I personally thought, to my eye, didn't actually have as much definition as I've seen of him in previous fights. But let's see. Lewis, Canelo on points. Nigel, Triple G on points. Amir Khan's chin is going Golovkin majority decision, because it's going to be hard to get an MD against Canelo. Matt, Triple G by KO in the late rounds. Sport, Triple G, late stoppage. Vern is going Canelo, TKO, round 9. Lucas, Canelo on points. Lewis, Canelo looks spot on the weight. Stuart's talking about the Joe Saunders weigh-in. We'll be there in a minute. Oasis, Triple G by late KO. Barry, Triple G mid-rounds. Canelo's never tasted power like this. Stuart can't call it. Tom agrees that Triple G did look a little bit, he's used the word fatter. I wouldn't use that word, but he didn't look as lean as I've seen him in the past, perhaps. So maybe that is fatter, I guess. Jonathan, Triple G KO 10. David saying the Triple G jab will be a huge factor. Luke saying GGG has to win clear to get a points win in Vegas. Spot on, Luke. James, Canelo looks in better shape. Triple G a bit drawn, but he's still picking Triple G late stoppage. And Megan, I reckon Triple G could get the decision, but it'd be hard to get it against Canelo. King Kong is going Canelo. TKO 7 to 10 all points. Team Groves, late stoppage for Golovkin. Tivatap says, good stuff, Tom. He's going for a 12th round stoppage for Golovkin. Tom is saying Canelo mid-rounds. And Amir Khan's chin. Golovkin batters him. But there's still one dodgy scorecard. So I wasn't adding up who was picking each fighter there, but my instinct was that the chat was saying, on the whole, that Golovkin was the likely winner, which is interesting. I mean, Golovkin is the middleweight, the more established middleweight. Golovkin is the guy who is the bigger guy in terms of how he's been operating at the weight. I guess he's the bigger puncher. He's the more established amateur. He's the favourite with the bookmakers. Canelo's tasted defeat in the ring. Canelo's looked beatable in the ring on several occasions. You know, Golovkin has generally looked hard to beat. Although I would say his lesser performances have come in his recent fights. And, you know, I'm always talking about momentum on this channel. So, yeah, that's interesting. I've picked Canelo. But this isn't one of these predictions where I want a huge amount of praise if I get it right. And it's also not one of these predictions where I expect a huge amount of stick if I get it wrong. Because for me, it's a coin toss. You know, I'm not picking Canelo with any confidence. I don't think that I've necessarily seen something that other boxing fans haven't. You know, I just think Canelo. I think he may be catching Triple G at the right time. And I think the judges are going to play a big part in this fight. So I'm siding with Canelo. If you want my full breakdown there, check out the breakdown video that's up on the channel, which rambles on in fairly extensive detail. Jonathan, I don't know what to think about this. Canelo seems to have less fat, water around the abs. Could weaken ability to take body shots, or might weaken nothing. Canelo, to be honest though, Canelo's always been quite lean, isn't he? I mean, he's probably in the best shape I've ever seen him, but he's always had that kind of lean physique. Not lean physique, he's got quite a powerful physique, but you know, that sort of lean body fat, I guess you could say. He's actually made a career out of drawing himself down for weigh-ins and that sort of thing. So for me, it's not necessarily a surprise. Matt says, hey BG, I haven't seen Canelo get hit by a clean shot from a true middleweight. You think he can take Triple G clean shot to the chin? It's a good question, and none of us have seen Canelo take sustained punches to the chin from a true elite middleweight. We're about to see that this evening. But whilst Golovkin is a huge puncher, let's not forget that Daniel Jacobs went the distance with him. Let's not forget that Martin Murray went 11 rounds with him. You know, he is a huge puncher, but there is a track record of people surviving into fights, and even now going the distance with, you know, with Triple G. Canelo, I haven't seen him dropped in his career to date. He's a guy with who's shown a very capable punch resistance in his career to date. Clearly, that's going to be tested to the next level tonight. So it's kind of impossible to know. It's one of those things that's very hard to predict. But Canelo's always given me the impression of being quite a durable guy. I just wonder if he'll have the durability required. I suspect that he may do. 35 of you guys watching us live now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit the thumbs up, please, which will mean this gets out to a slightly wider audience. And hopefully we'll get some more people joining in. Amigan, I've seen Canelo wobbled, but not dropped. What fight did you see him wobbled in, Amigan? Was it earlier on in his career? I I'm not saying you're wrong. It just doesn't instantaneously spring to my memory. Slicksborough, do you think Triple G went easy on Jacobs to secure the Canelo fight? No, I hate conspiracy theories like that. I actually think Triple G came quite close to losing that fight. So, no, I think that would have been far too big a risk. Luke says, Martin Murray said each punch was like getting hit by a bowling ball. Yeah, but I've also seen a Martin Murray interview where he said George Groves hit harder than Triple G. So who knows what that guy's saying, really. But, yeah, I mean, clearly Golovkin's a big puncher. Team Groves, they both have to make the 170 morning weigh-in, which limits the amount they can rehydrate to. I would say Canelo would be 178 to 182. I agree. So he's coming in as a small cruiserweight. I think Adam is suggesting he saw Canelo hurt against Jose Cotto, Miguel Cotto's brother. Gary thinks Triple G will break him down. Lewis, Canelo KO is being overlooked. I agree. Golovkin is not a hard guy to hit. And the way Canelo puts his punches together, there's a chance that Golovkin could be getting hit with more combinations and more power punches, more inside punches than he's been hit with in his pro career to date. I think it is being overlooked. I'm not saying I think it's likely, but I think it's being overlooked. Amigan says it was Jose Cotto that wobbled Canelo. I either have watched that fight and have forgotten it or haven't watched that fight. So I don't know, but I know it was earlier on in his career. Meticulous, hello from Australia. Shout out to anyone who's watching from abroad. Who else is watching from abroad? If you're watching from abroad, drop a line in the chat. Team Groves, BG, you're going to try and watch it without seeing the result? Ideally, Team Groves, I don't know whether it's realistic. I'll be watching it this time tomorrow. King Kong, Frank Warren versus Eddie, the real fight of the decade. Barry, BG, do you think Canelo planting his feet makes him more open to... Sorry, do you think Canelo planting his feet to land powerful counters will leave him more open to hooks? It could do, but I think Canelo's got to go into that engine room. I don't think... I don't think Canelo has any chance if he stands from range. Iris Tom's in the chat. Iris, if you want to jump on, mate, just drop me a one-liner to my email and I'll reply with a link. But no worries if you're busy. But it would, of course, be an absolute pleasure to have you on. I've seen you causing mayhem on Twitter with your suggestions that Dillian White is the best heavyweight in the world. Liking your style. Metal Guru is watching live from Vietnam. Sparky from the US. Oasis from Ireland. Daddy from Kazakhstan. Triple D says, how many pay-per-view buys in the UK? It's so hard to predict because the Box Nation pay-per-view is uncharted territory. I'm not sure the promotion has got this to the wider public. And I also think the fact it's on so late in the night really, really, really is going to affect the buying of this pay-per-view. So, I think it'd be lucky to do 100,000. That's not saying the fight's bad, but it's saying the Box Nation platform and a pay-per-view at this hour of the morning without Floyd Mayweather is kind of uncharted. Team Groves wants Iris on. He says, don't duck, Iris. Luke's saying 200,000 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I doubt we'll find out, Monty's tuning in from Australia. Haim's tuning in from New York. He's thinking Canelo by KO. Team Grove says it won't do the numbers it should do or deserves to do. Barry, we're coming to Callum Smith later on. Ray Sean has joined in from California. It's great to have all these people tuning in internationally. Give me a big head, guys. Triple D says Irish takeover. Monty says Triple G by KO or Canelo by decision. Gary, I predicted Canelo to win. Full video of that up on the channel, mate. Full fight breakdown if you want more detail than that. Oh, Selden has put, they don't actually have to make the weight this morning. The IBF changed the rules in unification fights. It's only if the IBF belt is in there. Well, that's interesting. That changes what a previous commenter had said, so potentially a relevant factor. Adam said if the fight was on Sky Sports, it would do 200 grand, maybe not on Box Nation. Iris Tom wants to join. Okay, let me quickly fire Iris a link. Just bear with me, people. He's more entertaining than I am anyway, so it'll be worth the wait. All right, link's gone over to Iris. I probably will duck out of the chat a little bit when Iris joins in. So to Rob, Rob's joined. My man Rob, been supporting this channel from day one. He's going GGG late stoppage. Tom's promising a quick fire cameo. But yeah, I'll chill out, you know, speak to Tom when he's on. In fact, he is on now. Tom, you all right, mate?
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Loud and clear. Happy Saturday, Tom.
Happy Saturday is right.
I got some stick for cutting you off before you had your time to do your usual sign-off on Wednesday.
I know, I was desperate. I was going to sue.
You're going to, I know. I don't want the lawyers calling, mate. Buzzing for tonight?
Yeah, buzzing. Yeah, really up for it. There's not enough videos on YouTube for me to find to watch on it. That's the way I am at the moment.
Really? You just are you going to watch the stuff in the UK as well, or is it just all about the Canelo Golovkin fight for you? Yeah,
no, I'm going to try and watch it all. Yeah, we'll see how we get on. Did I hear that the Billy Joe Saunders main event is not until 11:30?
That's the first I've heard of it, mate. But let's ask the chat. Tom's saying potentially the Billy Joe Saunders main event not until 11:30. If you can confirm or deny that, hit us up in the chat.
What else? Yeah, I was looking at the weigh-in. Yes, yeah, I think GGG looks very tight at that weight now. Like,
yeah, I didn't think he looked as good as he's done in previous weigh-ins, Tom.
His face looked very tight. His body looked fine, but his face looked really gaunt. Like,
Team Groves is saying 11:30 and Barry's saying closer to midnight. So sounds like you're right there, mate.
Yeah, so we'll probably get to see them all then, really. We'll see the Callum Smith one earlier. That might be... I don't know what time the Callum Smith one's kicking off. Is it kicking off more European time or something?
Do you know what? I'll put that in now, mate, as you're talking away, and I'll let you know.
But yeah, anyway, GGG, I thought he looked very drained. And maybe it's hard to tell with Canelo so much when he's got his beard on. But it's a very handsome beard, must be said. If a little pubic looking, the hairs are very short and spiky, you know. I thought they'd be a bit more flowing. But it's like, I think, you know, I think GGG is struggling at the middleweight. And, you know, if you go back and see him in the Lemieux weigh-in, he didn't look like that. You know, he looked very pale in his face. I was watching him with my missus, and she was like, oh, yeah, he does look very gaunt. And, you know, Canelo looks happy at that weight. So I think that's a negative for GGG to me. And he was he was drinking a bottle, and when he's interviewed, he was licking his lips and all this kind of stuff. It looked like he was after dropping about 6 E's or something. So I don't know, like, it doesn't look good for GGG, me, that way, and I don't think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tom, just to answer your earlier question, the ITV boxing starts on ITV4 at 7:45 and is scheduled to finish by 11:30. So I'm guessing what's happened is that the Box Nation fight, they've been a bit worried that they may lose out to the terrestrial might of ITV. So they probably scheduled the main event to start after the conclusion of that one, I guess.
Where is it in the copper box?
Yeah, the Billy Joe card's in the copper box. Yeah,
I suppose they have the late tubes are running now, so it's not as bad as it would have been before, but still pretty shitty. Yeah. I'm not best pleased about it because I need to get up at the crack of dawn tomorrow to run this half marathon, mate. So I was hoping to be in bed by 10:30, but how much training have you been doing?
I haven't run a single time since my marathon in April, mate. So yeah, it's
looking less and less likely to me.
It's looking like, yeah. See if I get on the Guinness tonight. Yeah, and you know, end up getting it. You never know. But no, I'm going to do my best to run it. I've got some mates doing it, so I won't be popular if I duck out, mate.
What you call it? Yeah, so I'm very hyped for it. I thought Callum Smith as well looked like the Walking Dead. My God, he looked really drained at that weight, and the other guy looked very drained as well.
Yeah, like I didn't realise the opponent's a career light heavyweight.
Yeah, like to be honest with you, his body didn't look too bad, but his face looked quite gaunt, and so you know, I think the bookies have that one way too wide. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Callum Smith hasn't shown anything to be a 12-1 favorite in that fight. But I think I'm interested in seeing that, and interested in I think Callum Smith looks like he's outgrown that weight class, to be honest with you, and I think that's going to affect him doing the weight, especially he had to do 3 hard fights in a row with cutting weight, and he hasn't really fought anyone with a pulse at that weight in a long time. So I think Callum Smith's got a little chance of winning that tournament, but could be wrong.
He's the bookie's favourite, but I think a lot of that's to do with the
draw and hype, because anything else?
Look at this Skoglund, Tom. I think he's all right. You know, I don't think he's a world beater. He's not the most skilled, but he's got a little power, and he's got some nice work on the inside. You know, he slips in a cheeky little uppercut. He's not out of it.
No, like, and to me, I think he's probably better than Rabras.
Yeah, he could easily be better than Rabras. Yeah,
like he's kind of like a European champion type. And to be honest with you, Rabras took rounds off Callum Smith. Am I right saying that? Did he take like 3 or 4 rounds off Callum Smith?
I can't remember exact rounds, but yeah, I think he had spells of success, certainly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just interested in seeing that. Because I think it's like a cup tie. These guys, they really go for it because it's such a pot of gold. There's no point in leaving these things in the judges' hands. You've got to try and go for a knockout or go for a dominant win. So, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Tom, I know you're only on for a cameo. I've got to ask you about the weigh-in yesterday, mate. Just a sort of initial reaction to that, I guess.
What do you mean?
The Billy Joe Saunders weigh-in and the associated events.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think that, Billy Joe Saunders, what do you say? Like,
I like Billy Joe Saunders. I've been a fan of his for ages. I found that quite hard to watch, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, like, it's a bit of a weird one. You really shouldn't be bringing your kid doing that, man. Look, I've got a small kid now, and I don't let him ever see a boxing fight, and I don't know if I'd ever introduce him to boxing until he's much older. And sometimes you go to York Hall or sometimes, and you see people there with like their 7-year-olds in York Hall watching 2 guys beating the crap out of each other. For me, it's not an environment for a kid. And Billy Joe, I think Billy Joe gets a lot of abuse because he's a gypsy, and there's a lot of anti-gypsy sentiment out there. But Billy Joe does a lot of things to bring abuse on him, and you wouldn't say it was the classiest of behavior. So it really
wasn't, and I'm not saying it was orchestrated. I've got no idea if Billy Joe told him to do that or whatever.
Definitely.
I've got no idea. But what I will say is I have seen at least 2 bits of film in the past where Billy Joe has actively encouraged that child to attack people. So what I'm saying is, whether or not he orchestrated the attack on Willie Munroe Jr. yesterday, he has a track record of showing this boy that it is acceptable and behavior that he's going to encourage, I guess.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable enough. He probably thinks it's funny too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He probably thinks it's like a laugh. And, on some level, it is kind of funny. You can imagine it being in one of those, like, what's that question of sport? What happens next? Ones, where they have in the sports quiz, whatever. But it's pretty bad. It's and I totally think Billy Joe Saunders told him to do it, or he gets them to do similar stuff anyway. I just think, it's kind of classist. And, Willie Munroe was on saying that a lot of Billy Joe's entourage were calling him and his team niggers and stuff like that, and it's really pretty rubbish, especially when Billy Joe Saunders goes out of his way to complain about anti-gypsy racism, and, he might say, well, that's just, people, it's not him doing it, but, it's like who you surround yourself with. If the people who your team surround yourself doing all that kind of stuff, I think it for me, it turns me off Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got to say, every cloud has a silver lining, and the silver lining is fair play to Willie Munroe Jr. He took it he took it as well as anyone could take that, and his entourage were going mental, and he was telling them, "Chill out, it's a child." Came across like an absolute gentleman, and fair play to him for that, I guess.
Yeah, like I'd say, he comes across as a right gent. It was his father. Did his father fight Hagler? Was his father William the Worm Munroe?
I didn't know that. The chat will tell us, though. So once again, let's go out to the chat, confirm or deny if that's true. But yeah, I've got a feeling he wasn't raised by his parents, though. I saw a video where him saying that he was raised by his grandparents. I think he's got Cuban blood, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Rob says Rob and Team Groves have confirmed what you've just said, Iris. So he's clearly got it in his blood.
So his father did fight Hagler.
Yeah, and he beat him as well, apparently.
No, Hagler stopped him.
Oh, unless they fought more than once.
All right.
Because two people have said he beat Hagler.
Maybe I have it wrong.
But yeah. But yeah, fair play. The other thing that was a
he did lose to him. You're right. He lost once and bet him twice.
Fair play. The other thing that was a slightly bad look at that weigh-in, and people are going to think I'm obsessed with hating on Anthony Yarde here. I'm really not. I actually really like watching Anthony Yarde fight, but I am a bit concerned for him because Yarde missed weight by 3 pounds, and I believe it's the second fight in a row he's missed weight. And you just look at Yarde, and whether Yarde is tall enough to make it at light heavyweight is a big debate. But let me tell you, there's no way that he could be beating guys like Alexander Usyk or Mike Perez up at cruiserweight. He's too short. He's too small. And the fact that Anthony Yarde is missing weight with some regularity, and I saw Rob on Facebook actually saying that Yarde hasn't really made weight throughout his career. All of his come-up fights were well over the light heavyweight limit. I think it's a real concern at this stage of Yarde's career and how young he is. I know he's 25, 26, but he's a young guy. If he wants to have career longevity, it's going to be tough, because if he can't make light heavyweight, Nathan's put Yarde as 5'10", 5'11". I don't think so, Nathan. I've met him. I think he's shorter than that. I just think he's going to struggle. What about yourself, Tom?
Well, Dwight Muhammad Cowie, he was an all-time great cruiserweight and light heavy. He was 5'7". So it has been done, So, 5'7", like he was a total tank. But did he actually make weight, though?
Yes.
So he was 3 pounds over and he still made the weight?
Correct.
How the fuck was he? Did he leave his shoes on or something when he was?
Well, first, he certainly got, from what I understand, and I haven't seen the footage, but he lost all his clothes second time around. Yeah. But yeah, still a lot of weight to lose quite swiftly, isn't it?
It sure is. My young fella just come in here to tell me the pizza's ready, so I'm going to have to do a runner, lads.
No worries, mate. No worries. All the best. Enjoy your Saturday, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Yeah, and it's not ready. No. Oh no.
Daddy's only just started.
She's only just starting. You tricking me?
No.
Oh no.
I'm not tricking.
Oh good. Right. Well, that's Dillian White, number 1 pound for pound. Dillian White's going to clean out that middleweight division.
I know. If Dillian White played 160, he would be a world class heavyweight, or middleweight even, should I say?
He would. Anyway, lads, good luck, and I'll talk to you. I'll tweet you later on, probably.
Cheers, Tom. Speak to you soon, mate.
Good
All the
luck.
best. Cheers. Bye now. The inimitable Irish Tom, having a nice pizza for his lunch on a Saturday. 66 of you watching now, so we're slowly going up on the numbers. Appreciate this isn't the most fan-friendly time to go live, which is probably why we're not hitting the usual heights, the heady heights of the numbers we get on the podcast. But shout out to the 67 who have joined. Hit that thumbs up button, which will mean even more do get to join. Tom's son was trying to trick him, apparently. But yeah, there you go. So the Billy Joe Saunders weigh-in. For me, quite uncomfortable viewing. I've got to be honest. Quite uncomfortable viewing. You know, my best mate is a primary school teacher, right? And he's into his boxing. And I was sitting there yesterday, and I watched the YouTube thing, and I sent my mate a text saying, check out the Billy Joe Saunders weigh-in. His son's only just gone and attacked Willie Munroe Jr. And my mate is, as I say, he's a primary school teacher in a fairly rough part of the world. And he texted back, Billy Joe Saunders' son. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't look old enough to have a son who could attack a pro boxer. And I said, yeah, I think his son's 7 or 8. And he watched the footage, and he said that in his years of being a teacher, he's never seen, you know, he was taken aback by it. Let's put it that way. And look, this is a boxing YouTube channel. It's not. I didn't start this channel to, you know, I don't have any kids. It's not my job to start handing out parenting advice. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but, you know, maybe I shouldn't even say this, but my gut instinct is, what chance does that kid have of living a normal life, you know? It seems that there's been numerous instances of him already going out attacking people. You see him on the pads with Billy Joe Saunders. There's several videos of him, and it's, you know, it's clear that this son is being trained to be an absolute killer. You know, he probably hits harder than most. No, you know, I'm exaggerating to prove a point. But you look at this kid on the pads, and the hand speed, the combinations, you can't believe your eyes how young he is. You just wonder if that kid is going to have the same opportunities as someone who isn't Billy Joe Saunders' son, to be honest. It wasn't good to watch. I actually felt sorry for the boy, to be honest, more than anything else. I actually didn't find it funny. I found it quite uncomfortable. And as I've already said, fair play to Willie Munroe. I thought he handled it very, very, very well. I thought he came across like a class act. He couldn't have handled it any better. Yeah, Team Groves has put, I laugh at any trash talk, but seeing 8-year-olds swearing and punching, kicking people is just sad. Spot on comment for me. You know, spot on comment. What about the Anthony Yard weigh-in, guys? You heard my thoughts on that a second ago with Irish Tom. What's your take on that, guys? Am I right that it's a big concern he's missing weight? Or, you know, is it maybe that he's just not motivated because he's fighting, you know, an incredibly low level of opposition tonight? What's your take on that? Give us your comments in sets below. Also, give me your thoughts on Dubois versus AJ Carter. Is AJ Carter actually a step up from the likes of Blaze Menduo? Is AJ Carter a threat, or is it a very, very easy work? Put your comments in the chat. Team Groves, you think Yard needs to take off some muscle to make 175 without being drained? I would suggest so. Michael says, gossip. You need a shave, pal. Great speaker and good content. I might try and grow it out for another week and see where it takes us, Michael. But yeah, appreciate I'm probably not looking my slickest this morning. James has put yard way too small for a cruiser, so it's a worry. Spot on. Adam, yard's pissed off because it looks ridiculous and he's getting called a ducker. Nathan says Dubois inside 2 rounds probably. Jonathan, anyone who hates pay-per-view, incidents like the Billy Joe Saunders weigh-in are why we don't have major corporate sponsors putting more stuff on free-to-air. Interesting argument, Jonathan. And I wonder what the executives at BT Sports will be thinking, given that Billy Joe Saunders is probably their flagship fighter, if we're being frank. Sean Carter is no, he's a Londoner. J-Max says Yard is ducking Burton or Francis. Jamal says Miguel Vasquez versus Josh Taylor in November. I didn't know that. Interesting fight. Team Groves. Yard had enough water to take 3 pounds off, which is a good sign, though. Here, Dubois versus Joe Joyce. Winner takes Yoka. I don't think they'll be putting them in big money matchups like that for some time. Especially not Dubois. He's 18, 19 years old. Jared says Yard definitely needs to lose some muscle mass, or it'll be like Danny Jacobs, who fought more at super middle than middle. Cheers, Jared. Thanks for the continued support. Michael says, BG, you're a handsome man. Don't ruin it with the beard. Nathan says, BG, did you see the Munroe interview on BT Sports? I did not. Yeah, Rob, I checked Yard's career weights, following on from what I saw you put on Facebook, mate. You're spot on. Barry says, AJ Carter gets smashed tonight. Poor Chin gets KO'd by Journeyman. Boom. Did Yard lose his title for missing weight? I believe he subsequently made weight, Boom, so no. Obi Anuli says, Big Baby Miller is the future of the heavyweight division. Regan says, at least Carter looks in some shape. Yeah, I noticed that. He did look in decent nick, albeit small compared to Dubois. Sat says, Yard and Tunde are likeable. Something is slack in their setup. Oasis says, Tyson Fury is a gentleman. Saunders is not. Adam says, Yard should sign with Matchroom. Boxing Breakdown. I believe Joe Joyce loses to Lewison. Yeah, I've speculated that on the channel, Boxing Breakdown. I think that's a real tough matchup for, especially with the styles at play. So yeah, moving topic. Callum Smith versus Skoglund. Now I haven't followed Skoglund since his amateur days. My recent casual fandom has been exposed by the armies of Roman Gonzalez fans. So you guys know I'm nothing more than a filthy casual. So, you know, if you've been watching Skoglund on his way up, when he was having his first amateur fights when he was 15, fair play to you. I haven't. I've seen a few grainy clips of him on YouTube. I had a look at the fight against Rhino Leonberg at light heavyweight this morning. Skoglund is all right, you know. Irish on a podcast the other day speculated that his resume is actually better than Callum Smith's. And I think you can make a tangible argument that's the case. I think there's certainly much of a muchness. I mean, Smith's fought Rabrasse and Fielding. Skoglund's fought the likes of Glenn Johnson, albeit an ancient Glenn Johnson, Lindbergh, these sort of guys up at light heavyweight. I think Callum Smith may be the more school of the two. I think Callum Smith may be the more accomplished technically. Skoglund looks a bit raw. But sometimes you wonder if that rawness may not actually be a bad thing against Callum Smith. Because my biggest criticism of Callum Smith is how sort of stiff and robotic he is. You know, he's very upright, typical Joe Gallagher fighter. Absolutely no head movement, very upright, very stiff. Jab comes out, jab comes out. You know, this Skoglund's smoother isn't the right word, but maybe he's a little bit more fluid than that. He's on his toes a little bit. You know, he's coming inside. He's got a little bit of an uppercut up the centre. He seems to have a little bit of power as well. It'd be interesting to see. Del Boy, shout out to Del Boy. I think Del Boy was the first subscriber we had to this channel. He's got a very good YouTube channel himself. He's put some aspects of Skoglund's style remind me of Nathan Cleverly when he was on the come up. I can see that, you know. I can see that. You never know. You never know. I think Iris is right. I'm not. Look, Callum Smith for me is the most likely winner. Skoglund is a bit raw, but I can see Skoglund causing Callum Smith real problems. Smith hasn't really been tested. Smith's been inactive. Smith's very tight at the weight. He's very robotic. I think his chin is very up in the air. Nathan thinks Skoglund's better than Ribras. Team Groves haven't seen enough of Skoglund, but it will be Smith's hardest fight of his career. Yeah, I agree. I give Skoglund a relevant chance in this fight, 30%. VK is asking, what will you guys be watching, Smith Skoglund or BJS Munroe? Well, looks like they're not going to clash. Looks like Smith Skoglund will be over by 11:30, and that's when Billy Joe's getting in the ring. My preference would be towards the Billy Joe undercard, because I've got more interest in fights in Anthony Yard, admittedly against, you know, a disgraceful level of opposition, and Daniel Dubois, than I do the ITV undercard. I think ITV has Martin Murray on it, and I've got to say, nothing against him personally, Martin Murray is my least favourite fighter in the history of boxing to watch. You know, I really, really do not like watching Martin Murray, especially, you know, in combat fights. James Holder, as Dwyer would say, so out to Dwyer. Smith looked like a scarecrow at the weigh-in. Kaiser says Skoglund has some nice counter punches. Boom says, did you hear about Chisora fighting for the EBU title in November? I heard one or two rumours. I haven't seen anything confirmed. Obi Anuli says, great year for boxing, ending with Rigo Lomo. Yeah, seen that's been confirmed. That's good news. Anthony's picking Triple G to destroy Canelo. He will wilt under the power. Thinks people have been taken in by the hype. Nathan, great year for boxing. Nathan says, Martin Murray or Paul Smith, Tom? Do you know what? I'd give Paul Smith a slight edge in terms of who I enjoy watching more. Martin Murray, for me, I really find him very, very difficult to watch. Paul Smith is not much better, don't get me wrong. Possibly would throw John Ryder into the mix as well. Adam Scott says, Jarrell Miller or White? I've not been sold on Dillian White, you know. I'd probably lean to Miller. Matt, in your opinion, is BJS a true middleweight? Oh, sorry, is a true top middleweight? I think he is. If you look at Billy Joe's resume, it's actually decent, you know, decent. He had that huge streak of undefeated fighters. Blandamura, Spike O'Sullivan, Blackwell, Ryder. Then he stepped up to world level. He beat Chris Eubank Jr., which looks increasingly decent form. And he beat Andy Lee. For me, he beat both of those guys with a little bit in hand, you know. I do think he's a top middleweight. You know, I think you could make an argument that Golovkin and Canelo are the elite and that Daniel Jacobs is maybe there or thereabouts. But I think Saunders certainly in that mix. I'd pick him well above the likes of David Lemieux, Curtis Stevens, Cotto at this stage. I would. Jamal, can you please do a prediction video about the Vasquez-Taylor fight? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll Google it, and on assuming it's confirmed, which I'm assuming it is, Jamal, based on the fact you're telling me it is, I'll certainly cover it ahead of the fight. I can't make any promises I'll do it next week because I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but there'll be something on this channel ahead of them getting in the ring. Josh Taylor is someone we've followed on his channel, certainly followed on the podcast for a good while. Boxing fan, another great day of boxing ahead, certainly. George, do you think BJS takes on the winner of Golovkin Canelo? Also, do you think Sheffield is a good fit for him? I do. It's got him in good shape. I think the Ingles know how to deal with slippery southpaw characters. The winner of Triple G Canelo, if it's Triple G, yes. If it's Canelo, I don't know. Canelo's such a big draw. And I don't know if he'd be so motivated by unifying the titles as Triple G. Lewis, do you think the big baby and White fight will happen? 6 weeks to go. I don't. I've speculated I think White will fight Hellenius. Boxing breakdown. Who should Andre Ward fight next? Certainly not Buglioni. Well, in an ideal world, he'd fight Adonis Stevenson, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Michael, who's the best fighter at the Ingle Gym, Billy Joe or Kell Brook? At his best, Kell Brook. Right now, Billy Joe. I think Billy Joe's got more left ahead of him than Kell. Boxing fans predicting Callum Smith on points, Billy Joe on points, and Golovkin on points. Cool. Over 50 thumbs up. Thank you very much to everyone who's clicked the thumbs up. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed. Had a subscriber join on since we've been live, so shout out to whoever that person is. Lewis asking me, have you made any bets for tonight's fight? So I'm having an extended absence from gambling due to certain financial expenses coming my way in the near future, Lewis. And I don't like to gamble what I can't afford to lose, mate. So I'm keeping my my pound coins in my wallet and putting them towards some big things coming up in my life. I think I mentioned this previously on the channel, but I'm actually away in the States for the first 3 weeks of October. So during that period of time, I'm not saying I won't do anything from abroad. Maybe I'll pop up with a little cameo, but yeah, YouTube will probably take a back seat during that period, I'm afraid. So very much looking forward to it, but it's not going to be cheap. James says, gossip, your missus has got your wallet. Not wrong. Adam thinks Canelo is tempting from a gambling perspective. Yeah, good stuff. Vern, I thought you were going to say you're having a baby. Give it 2 or 3 years before any of that, I'm afraid, Vern. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Call it Tyson or something. Maybe we'll do a competition on the channel to name my baby after a famous boxer or something. Thoughts on Hey Bellew 2? I think it may well happen. And Bellew stung me so many times, I'll never pick against him. But if David Hayes back to full health, he'd be a favourite. Jared says, what would you do if you were having one today? Well, I like value betting, Jared. So Iris just told me that Callum Smith is 1-12. Based on that, I'd probably have a little value bet on Skoglund to get him beat, mate. I probably would. I think Skoglund's overpriced there. Lots of people coming up with baby names. I should just clarify that I most certainly am not expecting a baby, and I do not intend to be expecting one for several years. Stuart says Irish Tom is my favourite Irishman since Terry Wogan. Popular figure. Vinny, I like the Callum fight. No. I'm unclear if Vinny's saying he wants to fight to go the distance or not. I think he's saying Canelo's stoppage is a value. Guys, I don't know how long I've been on for. Let's have a little look. It's not telling me how long I've been on for, but God, I've been on for nearly 50 minutes. Bloody hell. Absolutely rambling here. Jay has put, when will Paul be back on the channel? Spoken to Paul. He's threatening an appearance on next week's podcast, and he's picking Golovkin tonight. So hopefully we'll get him back. Vinny was saying Callum Smith fight not to go the distance at 8.1. So yeah, looking forward to tonight, guys. I may pop up on the channel tonight. You never know. Have to see what I'm doing. But I may pop up on the channel. I could either do a bit of live commentary. Maybe I'll do a bit of live commentary on 1 or 2 of the undercard fights. Maybe we'll do a bit of commentary on like a Daniel Dubois and Anthony Yard. Maybe even the Callum Smith fight. Maybe I'll do a post-fight video on Billy Joe if it doesn't go too late. But I'll pop up on the channel tonight at some point. Watching Golovkin Triple G tonight. I will be watching it about this time tomorrow, so you can expect a post-fight review video to be going up on that 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on Sunday. So if you want to check out any of them stuff, I'll keep droning on about it. Last time I promised, but like, subscribe so you don't miss it. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the fights. I really do hope you all enjoy the fights, actually. There's potential for some really good boxing tonight. And, you know, there's something for everyone tonight. Something for everyone. So enjoy it. Thanks to everyone who spent an hour of their Saturday chatting breeze with me. Thanks to Iris Tom for his little cameo. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Shout out to all the regulars. 60 of you hit the thumbs up. Really, really appreciate that, guys. Thanks for that. So yeah, have a good Saturday, everyone. Enjoy the boxing, and I'll be back soon, so stay tuned. Cheers all.